the last program, I was talking about the Our Father and how the original language of the Our Father was almost certainly in Aramaic, the language that Jesus used in his own everyday existence, and would be talking to the disciples in Aramaic. But we don't have any real knowledge at all about that original prayer as Jesus would have said it. We have it in the Greek translation that was the language that the Gospels were written in. So Matthew's Gospel and Luke's Gospel both were written originally in Greek. And so what happened was that Christians started to say the Our Father more in Greek. And through the whole of the Eastern Empire of the Romans, those who were Christians learned their Christianity by learning the Greek Gospels and the Greek Our Father. So in terms of learning to pray, they prayed often in Greek. Quite early on, though, because it was the Roman Empire, and the western part of the Roman Empire really spoke in Latin. So early on, translations started to be made into the Latin tongue. And so what you find happening is in Western Europe, many of the people who would have had some learning of Latin started to learn about Christianity through Latin. So what would be the Our Father in Greek, Pater Hermon, now becomes Pater Noster, because that's the opening words in the Latin text. So for 1,000 years, then, in Western Europe, people learned about God through Latin. Some thought that this is the language of God itself. But when we get to these islands, Christianity came in as explained in Latin. The Romans came in, Christians among the Romans came in, and they started to preach Christianity through Latin. And up to the time of the 1500s, everybody in every village would be expected to understand how to pray and where to go to church and all of those various things. And every child would have to know the Our Father and the Hail Mary and the Creed. And they would be taught those in Latin, not in English, but in Latin. And so everybody knew the Pater Noster, the Ave, and the Credo in Latin. It's one of the issues that is there, because when we speak in a language that we don't really understand, it can be just the words that we verbalize. And so it was actually with the Our Father. And the English word to pater is often to just use words. You know, somebody who has the gift of the gab, they talk and they have the pater. And that almost certainly comes back to Pater Noster, where people were saying their prayers, they were saying their Our Fathers, they were reciting them one after the other, they were babbling away. And that's always the problem with the Our Father. It becomes a text that we know well and we recite. The change of gear in these islands was with Henry VIII. When Henry broke with Rome, he decided that he was also going to break with the Latin language, and so gave instructions to the Archbishop of Canterbury to then produce what became known as the Book of Common Prayer. And this, crucially, was in English. And in English, everybody in every village in England was expected to learn their prayers, learn their liturgy, learn all about God now through English. And so it's from the Book of Common Prayer that we have, in essence, the Our Father that we say in our liturgy today. It's the Matthew's version of the Our Father, but it's the one that we share with all Christians still. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. A very almost old language that is used now. It's the only time we use it really is in the liturgy in that way. Henry brought it in. When Henry died, his son became king, Edward became king. And those around him were very strongly Protestant. And so they started to emphasize far more the liturgy in English and things like that. But when Edward died, quite young, Mary Tudor came in. Mary Tudor was a Catholic, and she returned the Latin of the liturgy and the Catholic liturgy across the country. But very importantly, she did not push back on the teaching of prayers in English. She could have gone back to the Paternoster and the Ave and that, but she didn't. She left it like that because people had now started to learn their prayers in English. When Mary died, Elizabeth came in, and so the prayer in the countries were set. Those of the English-speaking world who were praying were now fundamentally praying and using the language of English. It's a good thing that the Catholics and the Protestants, we share this prayer. And in the English-speaking world, across the world, except in one or two countries, we all still say the Our Father who art in heaven. And it's a wonderful way of drawing a Christian community together. But in the next little prayer segment, I'd like you to maybe just join me and think a little bit about, can we use our prayers better? And in fact, are we using the Our Father to the best of our ability in our prayer? And maybe a couple of suggestions which may help you to actually deepen your own prayer using the Our Father, allowing the heart of God to talk to your heart.